Here we go.
All right. So, hey everyone, welcome to the horror show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Jaime Fuego.
And we are here with...
Cody Faulk.
That's right, you guys. We've been talking about it for a few days now. I've personally been looking forward to this episode for a little while because I've been following the progress of Mr. Faulk's project for a little while now, and I am genuinely excited about it, which is why I wanted to try and make an episode talking to this gentleman about what he's got going on, because it is some really badass stuff. So,
and it's wet paint pictures, right?
Wet paint pictures, exactly. Yeah. So give me just a second here. I'm going to make sure once the live chat pops up that we're going to see these comments pop in as everyone starts to join.
I want to be live. Live.
And all right, so let's see. Let's make sure people get a chance to pop in here, and I am going to let everyone know that we are live on our Facebook. Bear with us, Cody. How's your day going, Cody, while I'm doing this?
It's not too bad, man. Thanks for asking. I mean, and again, I said this to you earlier, but thanks again, man, for having me, man. It's cool to be on the show. I mean, I've been watching, following you guys for a year now, and so now, you know, I'm actually on the show now tonight. I mean, it blows my mind. So thanks for having me, man.
Of course, we're excited to have you, and trust me, I'm particularly excited because I can see, you know, the talent of what you guys have got going on, or at least either you guys are talented or you're very fucking good at picking particular pictures and videos of your work.
Yeah, I think it's stream of both, but yeah, no, we're definitely working our butts off, man. We definitely try to, you know, keep everyone satisfied and keep everyone updated, you know, because we're working our butts off, you know, and it's cool to hear like yourself and everyone else to say that, you know, it shows, you know, that means a lot to us.
Yeah, man, especially on the Kickstarter footage that you showed, I feel like you gave enough of a taste where there's like a level of intrigue for audiences to be like, okay, what is this all about? Where are you going to go with the storytelling? How is it going to fit in fan film-wise as far as like chronology and stuff? And pretty stoked to pick your brain a little bit about it, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, most stuff.
So honestly, I think the first place to start, Cody, would be, since Voorhees is clearly a film about Friday the 13th and Jason, I think the best place to start would be, let's talk about your history with Jason. Yep, and we got the comments streaming live. That's working. Awesome. Love it, love it, love it. All right, cool. I love when I love it when a plan comes together. For another old reference. God damn it. Okay, so here we go. Let's jump into this. Cody, why don't you tell me the first experience / memory that you have experiencing the Friday the 13th franchise?
Sure, man. Well, you know, as many other Friday the 13th fans and horror fans, you know, at this point in our lives, if you're a horror fan, obviously you know Friday the 13th, either you've heard of it or, you know, the second you see that hockey mask, you're like, oh, that's that Jason guy. You know, you just, it's like burned in your memory. You know who he is and you know the tales. I grew up watching obviously all the Friday the 13th films, and my aunt, she had a farm, like a little, like 140 acres, like farmhouse and nice country property, and she always had this lake right on her property, and we would always watch Friday the 13th films. And I remember like the next day, you know, as kids, when we would go out, you know, there was a pool right next to the pond, and we go out to the, you know, go to the pool, and like right next to the pond, like, oh god, like Jason's down there, you know. It's just like it always scared me as a kid. And you know, we were always around the woods, we were always in the countryside, you know. We'd always like, you know, go outside and shoot BB guns at night, like, you know, just like, you know, stupid things, and we'd always be like scare ourselves, like, God, Jason's out there. And like I said, you know, living on the water was like, oh man, it was like he's down there, you know, he's down there, like any day he's just gonna come up and pop up and grab me and drag me down.
So which part of the country was this, Cody?
This was in Northern Virginia, but more like, you know, like West Virginia. It was definitely like more on the countryside as of where I'm at now.
Cool.
But yeah, it was definitely like, you know, deep in the woods, countryside, and I you know, it was just a summer thing. You know, I was there, but I grew up there. You know, it was like it was a home away from home, and a lot of solid memories and a lot of terrifying ones because, you know, like I said, we were always scared like that Jason was just right around the corner and trying to grab us. It was great, you know.
Yeah, those are formative experiences, as I like to say, man. I mean, that's exactly the stuff that sticks with you.
Yeah, no, we laugh about it now. I'd be like, no, you were scared. Like, no, I was never scared. Like, no, you were scared. You know, we were all scared. So it was cool. It was definitely was a great memory.
Right on, Fuego.
Yeah. So, I mean, we kind of touched upon it. Is there something that drew you to Jason specifically, like intrigue about his backstory, or you know, just the whole mythology behind the character, maybe the way he approached kills, or something like that? You know, where would that go?
Yeah, I mean, Jason's always been like, you know, he's definitely the #1 slasher in my heart. You know, he's just like his presence, his demeanor, you know, I mean, the way he just stalked his victims. There was something about it that I always found fascinating, and it always scared me as a kid. You know, some people are scared of like Freddy Krueger, some people are, you know, Michael Myers fan, Hellraiser, and what, you know, and so forth. Jason just always took the mantle for me. You know, was just always up there in the, you know, he was the mass murderer that scared me as a kid, and to me, you know, he was, you know, just super imposing, and you know, that sack head. You know, I remember that scaring like the crap out of me. You know, this guy, and it's like, I don't know, he brought something that generally just terrified me, and but at the same time I loved it. You know, it was like I was scared one minute, like I would calm down, be like, God, this is just fucking awesome. You know, it was just like, you know, it did everything for me that I wanted, and you know, as a horror fan, what more can you ask for? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it does sort of lead me to another question because, you know, well, I'm trying to decide what order I want to ask this in because, but I'm going to stick to the order I have it. So, why do you think that okay, let me just make sure. Yeah, because obviously that started when you were a kid, when you first were exposed to Jason. Now, what has made Jason and the Friday the 13th franchise be the one that has endured for so long for you, so much so that you decided to make a film about it?
You know, I think that's a good question. I think it's a mix of a few things. For one, as us Friday the 13th fans know and horror fans know, this has been the longest gap that we've ever seen a Friday the 13th film. I mean, they were making them out like, you know, back in the 80s, they were just boom, boom, boom. They were just everywhere, you know?
Every year.
And, yeah, I mean, they were just all over the place. And now it's just, you know, 2009, it's just, you know, it's just too long for, you know, especially, you know, us being horror fans. You know, thank God we had like that just came out, because, you know, me personally, I don't remember any, you know, recent good horror films. I mean, was the last one to me personally that was like, thank God, this is how a horror movie should be.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just been so long, and you know, we just got tired of it. It was just like waiting, and, you know, just like, you know, fans, like, you know, like we just sat around one day, we're just like, you know, we got to do something about this. Like, you know, I mean, obviously we don't have the budget and, you know, the skill sets that, you know, Hollywood productions have. But we were like, damn it, you know, we just get a group of friends together, you know, because we're passionate about what we do as it is. We love filmmaking. Let's just go out there and shoot something for the fans, just by the fans, and, you know, just have a fun slasher film, because that's what people want. Friday the 13th films aren't difficult to make. You know, you don't have to convolute them. You know, just give these guys some blood and some gore. You know, bring the hockey mask back on the screen. That's all we ask for. You know, that's why we're doing this. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, that makes tons of sense. Otherwise, why put in the time?
So, so then this is where I'm curious, man, about which films in the franchise you tend to prefer. I mean, obviously, if we're doing something with the hockey mask, that shows that from 3 onward, that was probably where they kind of hit the sweet spot of sorts. But, I mean, is there a particular film maybe where you're drawing the most inspiration, or a particular era in the franchise that inspired you the most?
That's another good question. We tried to, so our initial goal was, you know, Friday the 13th also, during the last years, as people know, he started to get a little lighthearted. You know, he definitely started to, you know, lose his macho skills in my point of view. And
happened with Freddy too, obviously. So.
And with Freddy, yeah, I mean, you know, afraid of water and all that. You know, he definitely kind of lost his balls. You know, I mean, that's just how we looked at it. It was like we wanted to bring Jason's balls back, and you know, I would say that Voorhees takes place pretty much, I would say, right after like part 7.
Cool.
Yeah.
we didn't want to go too, we didn't want to go too far after that. To me, in my opinion, that's when they started to lose the grip a little bit of what Friday the 13th really is, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, Jason Takes Manhattan, he was almost like an anti-hero with the way he was killing all of the unsavory characters and whatnot, so...
Yeah, and, so that's one thing we didn't want to do. We wanted to ground this back in the Friday the 13th reality, and we just wanted to make it, scary again. We wanted to, not take it too serious. We wanted to have fun with it, but we just wanted to bring Jason's balls back and just make him imposing, intimidating, and, hopefully scare kids like I was scared when I was a kid for this generation, and like I said before, hopefully light a fire under somebody's ass over in Paramount.
Well, I think you might be able to do that. Now, I like that you... So in your mind, Voorhees takes place in continuity.
Correct.
I love that.
Nice.
I fucking love that. Because I have to do this. I have to plug ours. We made a fan film on our channel. It is called Sweet. Fuego plays the titular character Skinner Sweet. It is a fan film about the American Vampire comic book series, which is a now long-running comic book series.
Yeah, Scott Snyder.
Scott Snyder written, co-created by Stephen King himself, and we loved doing it. But I loved the fact, because I wrote it, and I really wanted to make sure that it was in continuity. It was very important for me to make it in continuity, because then it makes it feel like, for true fans, they can really appreciate it on that level. Like, oh shit, this actually fits in the story, even though I did something, like I gave Skinner a daughter, and they hadn't touched on it, at that point or anything like that. I haven't read enough to know if they actually did anything like that down the line, but
not yet.
But it's, it was fun to be able to say, yeah, this takes place in continuity, because it's just that much sweeter for the true fans. So is that why you did it, putting it in continuity, or was it just because, you're like, hey, I just want this to be like 7.5?
I think that's exactly why we did it. It was just like, we wanted to give something for the fans that that we truly miss. I mean, they gave us the video game, which was great, but we've been wanting, we've been dying for a movie, give us a movie. So we wanted to stick with the roots. We wanted to do exactly what you just said, and bring our A game and just have fun with it. Again, we're just fans of the franchise. We're fans of horror. We just want to see something good, something bloody. I think horror films nowadays lack tremendously on just real blood and gore. I mean, you don't see movies like Evil Dead anymore. It's just that's the kind of stuff, Texas Chainsaw. You just don't see horror films like that anymore. And I ask myself all the time, so it's like, why? Why don't we? I mean, why not? I mean it's the horror fans are out there. They give us something. That's what I liked about it. Is like going back to that, is like that. I felt like they tried different things there that most horror films wouldn't even go down that route. Which we need more of. We need more ambition. We need more balls, and just the horror fans are always going to be there. You just got to give them something, Yeah, that's my motive.
No, yeah. I agree with you. I actually agree with you.
I would honestly chime in, man.
Yeah, please.
I mean, we still see that stuff relegated to the independent sector, but as far as big budget theatrical horror, we do not see big bloody extravagant carnage anymore on the theatrical level. Not at all, unfortunately. So
now, I want to follow up. I'm going to be getting into Voorhees next, but I do have a few more questions around the whole franchise first, and I want to ask: do you like all the films? Or are there some that you don't like, and why?
That was kind of my question earlier, but I scanted over.
Yeah, you kind of you shifted a little bit, which is fine. I want you to take some of these and make them your own, but yeah, I think it's still a valid question.
Okay, maybe favorite and least favorite.
No, I want to know: do you like all the films, or are there some that you don't like, and why? I mean, let him answer that, Fuego. How dare you?
Yeah, well, there's obviously ones that stand out more than others, just like. Many of these films that just carry on chapter after chapter. There's always going to be the stronger, more dominant films.
Right.
This is the way it is. But I mean, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, there's some that I like better. But I wouldn't say that I hate any of them. I like all the films for separate reasons.
That's fair. See, that's fair. And I feel like, as you're answering, I feel like maybe it came off as a pigeonholing question, when I'm not trying to say, only a real fan likes all the questions. No, I'm genuinely curious, as a fan that loves the franchise enough to make his own film about it, which ones really resonated with you versus which ones did not, because that might let our audience know what Voorhees may be geared towards.
Totally.
If that's a bit more clear.
Oh, totally, man. Totally. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I could have probably lived without Jason Goes to Hell. I mean, you know, I probably, you know, could have probably passed on that one, but you know, I mean,
except for that ending, though.
I mean, exactly. I mean, but the thing when I think about it's like, okay, Jason Goes to Hell. It's like you have to think about it, the time when they made this thing. They had so many films before that. They just wanted to try something new. I can't bash anybody for wanting to try something new and, you know, just try to give their own spin on it. I mean, try something new. They tried it. You know, it may not have worked out, but at least they tried. You know, that's the way I look at it.
Yep. That's fair. One last question before we jump into Voorhees, and a lot of people are bringing up something, and the reason I haven't touched on it yet is because I do have a place for the question in our sequence. So people asking about a particular thing that we haven't addressed yet. Yes, we will get to that. Don't worry. Just a few quick shout-outs. Late Horror Show's here. Channel Sundown's here. Reanimator's here. Raider1FN is here. Hey, Cody, my boy.
I'm laughing at what Ray just said. She's like, Jason's balls sound scary to me.
John 1 Frost 2 is here. Anibal Riveros is here. Peter said, the Neon Turtle. S Rose AA. T-Robo, something like that.
The Neon Turtle.
Cameron Scott. Anyway, Angry Demon, Lonely D, Right Fry, and yeah, I think that's just about everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. But before we move on, I do want to ask. There was one person, Cameron Scott asked, what was your personal favorite Friday the 13th film?
Mine?
Well, no, Cody's and yours.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Jason Lives.
Nice.
No kidding.
Jason Lives, really?
Wow. That was 6, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually, it's not
4 all day. 4 all day for me.
Yeah,
Final
it was 4
Chapter,
for me too,
Crispin Glover,
but 6 is actually pretty close behind that.
Yeah, 4 and 6 are my 2 favorites, and you know what? Even though a lot of people give me shit for it, I love Jason X.
I love Jason X.
I think that film is fun, man.
It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie.
I personally, I could do without 5.
Yeah, well,
I am not a
Jason,
fan. I mean, obviously, no Jason, so didn't really care. But
I was so happy
that was the
when
Halloween 3 of the Friday the 13th franchise for me.
But yet, I love Halloween 3. It's grown on me over the years.
Yeah. I gotta back Fuego up on that one. I love Halloween 3.
Everyone says that, and here's the thing: I haven't seen it since I was in my teens, so I need to rewatch it.
You need to. It's great.
All right, so let's do it. Let's jump into this motherfucker. What do you say, Cody? Let's talk about Voorhees, okay? So first off, why don't you tell our audience exactly what Voorhees is?
Well, Voorhees is a completely ambitious Friday the 13th fan film that our goal is to bring you the most darkest, sadistic Friday the 13th film that not only to date, but probably that you've ever seen.
I like now dark and sadistic. You mentioned something similar in your Kickstarter video, which we'll touch on the Kickstarter soon. But I want to know what that means. Like, are you trying to make it more violent than Jason's been before, or more like dark and mysterious mentally, or like what do you mean by that?
Because the remake was pretty violent, at least initially, I'd say.
So okay, yeah, no, I can answer that. So think about it this way: what I've been telling everybody, without giving too much spoilers or anything that away. What my goal was when we decided to do this was to take the dark, the kind of like the brutality of the kills. But in my opinion, and what we've been trying to do with Voorhees is, and this may throw some people off, it is like a original Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Friday the 13th.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Voorhees is.
Wow. All right. That's okay. So I'm trying to wrap my mind around that. So it's going to be dark and gritty, very visceral, very in your face, but at the same time, classic Jason sort of mythology, Jason attributes, the things you'll find in a Jason movie, but in a darker, grittier sort of presentation. Is that what you're going for?
So the way we're shooting this is very much like an original Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, and hopefully, and you may have even seen some like the Kickstarter when you see some of the camera shots and One thing that really got to me about the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre was not only the things that were going on, but was those strange camera angles.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of like those like Japanese like horror films because they do that very well. Is like those strange, just like unnerving camera angles, and a lot of people don't understand like a camera angle. You could be doing something not as creepy, but with the right camera angle, can freak you the fuck out. And that's what I wanted to do, and that's what you're going to see in the film. Is not only are you going to see the brutal scenes, but the camera is going to make you feel. It's very unnerving to see on camera, and I can't wait for everyone to see it.
Yeah, and Cody, that's something I can chime in on, man. When I was just watching the Kickstarter scenes and stuff, like you had a very unnerving close-up of a girl where you felt like you're right there with her, but then you also had a shot like looking up from the grass, which really felt like you're a corpse, like just kind of there, you know, like looking upward as, you know, whatever else is transpiring. And I thought that was very, very good eye, man. Good stuff.
No, we're definitely the cinematography in this film is super important to us, and we're definitely like taking our time with it, making sure that we deliver on making you feel extremely uncomfortable with these angles.
Hell yeah. So I'm going to jump into a next question, which is basically a little bit more into the process. So when you decided to move forward with this idea, maybe what did you go first with? Was it trying to find funding? Was it some casting? Was it friends? Did you, just toss the net out and start looking on, different, casting sites or whatever it may be? So how did the next step in the process go down?
Yeah, man. Well, after sitting around and just, constantly, playing the game, we were excited about that. After just sitting around with a group of friends and some filmmaker friends and producers, we were sitting around one day and we're just playing the game, watching Friday the 13th, and I literally got up and said, you know what, that's it. They're not going to make Friday the 13th. If they are, it's not going to be today. It's not going to be tomorrow.
But someday.
Let's get off our asses. Let's write a script and let's fucking do this, man, for the fans. Let's bring Jason back. And everyone was like, fuck it, let's do it. So we got up, we started writing a script. We started, we had our script. We started casting. As indie filmmakers, as yourselves probably know, you can only go so far without money.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Well, let's do a Kickstarter.
That's what stopped the Sweet sequel so far.
Yeah. Well, don't give up, man. But so we did a Kickstarter, and we were only asking for about $3,500, and we ended up getting like 55. So it was like, okay, some people want to see it, so they're like, okay. So we raised a little bit of money, we started putting some footage out, not expecting much, just indie horror fan stuff, seeing what people were digging it, and we started putting out, we put out a little teaser just to see like if people like really wanted to see this go any further, so let's put a little teaser out, and let's just see how people react to it, So we did. We shot a little teaser over the weekend, and we put it out, and the response was good, and like I said, we were funded on Kickstarter right after that, and so we started shooting the scenes. We started shooting, the atmosphere. We started getting, start bringing more people on. The more we talked to people, our local friends, and their friends. The more we talked about with people, was like every time we met someone new, they were in the project. It was like every time we would get one or two people, it was like boom, boom, boom. It just kept growing and growing. It was like everyone was like, being a Friday the 13th fan film too. Everyone's working for free. We all have jobs. We all have families. We're just, weekends. We're going out there shooting. Like I said, the group just kind of developed. And we got out there. We started shooting, and the buzz just kind of snowballed and just blew up online. And maybe we have something more here. The fans are obviously excited for this. Like, why don't we crank it up a notch? So we said, let's make the film longer. Let's add more bodies, because that's what people want to see. Let's add more bodies. Let's make this crazy as hell. Let's bring Jason back, and if we do this right, the fans are going to show up, and so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. I mean, snowball is the perfect term in my opinion, because of the fact that especially when you're in the initial stages of independent filmmaking, you need that momentum. You need the snowball going downhill mentality, because more people will jump on that proverbial bandwagon, be more interested in assisting, and that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, and now I gotta say, how big is the crew at this point, Cody?
You know, it varies depending on like what we're doing that specific day. You know, it's like some days, you know, we need some, you know, really intense like makeup, you know, props, and you know, so depending on the day, you know, we could have anywhere between 25 to 30 people, and some days we only have 5 or 6 people. You know, but it normally never goes to, you know, past 20, 25.
Okay. Fuego, you want to jump in next? Real quick though, Angry Demon Productions asks, who is the actor playing Jason? He looks fantastic.
That's something you're just gonna have to wait and find out.
Oh shit! Maybe it's Jason himself.
Might be someone special.
Jason Voorhees playing himself.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Fuego.
So, like, what is the shoot schedule on a typical day, man? Do you guys basically do 8, 12, you know, longer hours, or do you just kind of try to find the time when you can? Do you break it up into more so weekends, or, you know, how does everything break down with crew that you said, you know, has day jobs and stuff like that?
Right. So, I mean, like I said before, you know, we all have families, we all have, you know, our day jobs, and, you know, we all work a lot. So we try to balance out, you know, we wanted to make a shooting schedule at first, and just kind of went downhill. It was like, you know, try to make it, you know, somewhat like, here's our shooting schedule, but it just didn't really work out. So we try to shoot mostly on weekends, and when we do, they're, you know, the good thing about us is once we're out there, we're out there. You know, if we're out there for 10 or 12 hours, you know, so be it. You know, we're there to work, and, you know, to make this film as good as we can.
That's awesome.
Nice.
See, that's the true like indie spirit, man. Especially when there's, you know, little funding, and you got to just do it for the passion, and everyone's in it for the love of the project. Like,
we were there.
That can, yeah, obviously that can make for some of the best products in the end. So
well, I mean, everybody on ours came out for an additional day when that was not even, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't part of the
ahead
original
time,
plan.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
And that
Cody,
just shows how much
is there? Do you have any kind of filmmaking background, or do you have any sort of bigger filmmaking aspirations? Kind of a two-part question there.
You know, I actually started off doing modeling for Hollister, and yeah, I kind of did that for a little while, and I realized, you know, that's not really my thing. I've always played in a hard rock grunge band. I still do, and we started playing. You know, I played with my band on the side, so I was doing my band thing, and I tried the modeling thing. Then my band, you know, after like months and months of them just laughing at me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give up this modeling thing. Plus, I hate this shit. You know, so, you know, went back to the rock and roll thing. Yeah, rock and roll will always be in my blood. So I think Fuego can agree with me on that one.
Damn right, brother. What do you play?
Guitar and vocals, actually.
There you go.
Nice.
We actually opened up for Mick Jagger's son 2 years ago. Their band called Turbo Guys. They, you know, obviously they came from London. We opened up for them, and we opened up for Trapped. And I hate to say this, but we also opened up for Puddle of Mud at one point. Yeah.
I was gonna say Wes is in rehab right now. So.
Yeah, no, that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
But so I was doing my band thing, and I realized, like, okay, I don't want to do, you know, I don't want to give up on music, but I don't want to do modeling, so I instantly scrapped that, and then I started doing some indie films. I started off doing some TV shows, but I was doing more of like you know, key grip, and I started off, you know, I started making my way up. I did some background acting for some of these TV shows, and then, you know, one day I was doing, I always brought my backup, like, just like B-roll. To me, it was a B-roll camera. I always bought my own little camera, and I was just like always shot things behind the scenes. And one day, one of the cinematographers let me help him shoot a scene for one of the scenes for the TV shows, and I was like, fuck yeah, you know, this is what I love to do, because I love cinematography as well. So I'm doing some of the cinematography, and he's like really digging it, and I was like, you know, getting really into it, you know, so this is what I love to do. And then they offered me a small role, and I started doing that, and I, you know, started some TV shows, did some indie films, and, you know, here I am, you know. So I love doing everything regarding filmmaking, cinematography, acting, directing, producing, editing. It's just what I love to do, man. It's just anything. I don't care if I'm just sitting behind the camera or if I'm off to the side. As long as I'm watching someone doing what they love and just seeing everyone have a good time around, you know, just enjoying the atmosphere and doing what they love, it puts a smile on my face, man.
Well, that's my follow-up, Cody, is do you have a preference being in front of the camera or behind the camera in that, you know, other side of the process? What do you prefer? Or do you, like, just kind of juggling both?
Yeah, you know, I kind of like doing both. You know, I was like, you know, depending on what the project is, I love writing. That's the other thing is, you know, I also write music for our band, so maybe that could be like a little bit of, like, I write the lyrics, but I also like writing stories. You know, it's just like, so, you know, I like just doing a little, just like, I like to do music on my side, and I like doing filmmaking. Depending on the project, you know, I'll do almost about anything. That's what's one thing about me is, man, it's like if you're gonna do something, you know, it's balls in or balls out. You know, no fear. Just go out there and do it. You know, it's like I don't care what the role is, you know, and I'll just do it. So if the opportunity comes, yeah, I don't care if it's a little role, background role, you know, whatever. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, that's one reason why I love Robert Rodriguez so much, man. I mean, the fact that he's involved in the writing process, he directs, he also helps score his films, he assists in the post-production process, editing and everything. I mean, jack of all trades, and you know, if you can be a part of every step of the process, or at least as much as possible, I think that's very fulfilling for an artist. So,
absolutely,
props to you, brother. Hell yeah.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, man. So, Cecil wants us to jump into the actual specifics of the Kickstarter now, as far as how long it's going to be actually going on for, and you know what your hopes are from that process going forward.
Yeah, from my understanding, the Kickstarter I think has about 20 days remaining. This is, like I said before, this is our second time. We reached our goal in our first Kickstarter back in June. We were asking for $3,500. Like I said earlier, we ended up raising $5,500. That was great. It got us on our feet. We started shooting with that. Once that we saw the fan base started building, and you know, we ran out of money pretty quick, we decided, you know, the fans are here. They're waiting for this. Why don't we spice it up? And you know, we wanted to make it longer because we felt deep inside we knew we have a kick-ass Jason. We saw the script. We knew the fans were getting excited. It was like, we have this story. We have more that we can tell. So let's do it. So we said, all right, well, we're gonna need more money. You know, we're gonna spice up these things. We're doing all practical effects, by the way. So it was like,
love that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we need money to do these things. So we said, okay, well, let's do another Kickstarter. So we started one. It was about 2 weeks ago, and I think we're already over $5,000.
Yeah, you're well over. You're like over 60% funded with like 20 days left, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 66% funded, 67% funded last time I checked this morning. So yeah, I think we're in good shape.
Well, that's where I'm curious, man. So was it a feature-ready script you were condensing, or were you just augmenting since it's become a feature-length project?
Yeah, I mean, we had a few different stories for Voorhees. It took us a long time to figure out what story we wanted to tell, because we had different variations, and we finally settled on this one. I think it was always made. The way it was written was always made to be feature-length, but we just didn't have the money to do it, so we had to cut a lot of things out to shorten it. And then once we started seeing how good it looked, and then we started seeing the fan base, I called the producer one day. I said, "Man, fuck this. Let's make this thing longer." You know, it's like, this is what the fans are gonna love. This, like, let's just make it longer for them. And like I said before, nobody's gonna. I don't see anybody making any other Friday 13th movies anytime soon. The Paramount sure as hell isn't. You know, so it's like, let's just make this for the fans, by the fans, and they're gonna love it. And we're all gonna sit there and. It's like eating a cheeseburger. We're going to sit there and have a good time, and we're going to smile, and we're going to watch this movie. We're going to watch people get slaughtered. And, at the end of the day, we're just going to have a smile on our faces, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, there was that recent murmur about Jason Blum trying to get the franchise back off the ground, but it turned out to be just merely rumor. There's nothing confirmed, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's been start, stop for the last few years with this franchise, which kind of sucks, because of the fact that it's so beloved, so well-known, and that's what fan films are kind of just filling that void for the time being, which is, perfectly opportune time, dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you're definitely going to get some practical effects, and to me, practical effects just look so good on camera, man. And it looks so good on film, and I can't wait for everyone to see these, what we got cooking up.
Now, okay, Cody, so it's time for me to address the thing that everyone in the or not everyone, but a few people in the comments have asked. It's kind of addressing the giant machete in the room.
Oh, the right.
And that is... What is your, because someone alluded to you having an association with it of some kind, what are your thoughts on Never Hike Alone? Obviously, this is a large Jason fan film that just came out not too long ago in wide release on YouTube and has done very well, so well, in fact, that I believe I heard rumor recently that there's going to be something more going on with them. I don't know exactly what. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
it had one of the original actors too.
Yeah, and exactly. So, what are your thoughts on Never Hike Alone? Is this an Armageddon Deep Impact situation? What's the deal?
Yeah. So, what most people don't know, and I think I can say this, is that Never Hike Alone and Voorhees, I talked to the director, Vincenzi. We kept in contact the whole time, which most people don't know. When they were shooting their film, we were just, I think they were about halfway done with their film. We were just getting started, and you know, they heard about us, we heard about them. So you know, our producers got us in contact. I got, you know, so we started talking to their director. I talked to Vin. I still talk to Vin, you know, at least once a week. And, you know, we started talking. You know, he told us a little about their film. I told him about our film. And I said, I'll tell you what, you know, you guys go ahead. You know, you guys have already started. You already got your Kickstarter goal. You know, why don't you guys shoot your film? And, you know, we'll lay back a little while to let you guys have your success. We didn't want to step on each other's toes. And, you know, I got mad respect for those guys. And, you know, same thing I told Vin, you know, when we first, you know, got introduced, was like, we just want to bring Jason back. They want to bring Jason back. I'm not going to interfere with that, you know? Another Friday the 13th fan film, I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool coexistence, personally, not to, you know, rep our bumper stickers or shirts or anything like that. But, yeah, I mean, think about the fact that we had a Friday film coming pretty much every year in the 80s, like we were discussing earlier. So I would imagine one would be about to hit theaters, and they would already be working on another one. So there's easily the ability for different visions and different takes on this character to just, you know, swimmingly go along. We got one year, and now we're going to have another, you know, presumed badass film the next year, which is, you know, treat for fans, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I was in contact with them pretty much the whole time, and we stayed in contact, and we're still in contact. We didn't want to step on each other's toes. So I wish them the best. You know, I hope they get everything that they worked for, because they did a good job. They made a good movie, and then, you know, it goes to show that fans like themselves, and you know, they can do this. Anybody can do this. You just have to, you know, do the research. You know, you're not far from making one of these yourselves. You just got to put in the time and then do the research, and you can do this. You know.
True.
Inspirational words, man. So I got to ask then, if there was another character potentially that you could tackle in the horror verse, which one would you pick?
Ooh. Man.
Yeah, I know. It's a wide spectrum, obviously.
Well, I think this one needs some help. Leatherface.
Okay.
Did you see the most recent one?
I did, and there was. I mean, I liked it. There were some things that, you know, could have went without, but there was things that I did like about it. I feel so bad for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. I know that sounds weird, but every time I see one, it's like everyone gets excited and they watch it. They're like, yeah. It's like, all right, then another one comes out a few years later. All right, there's another one. You know, maybe this one will be good. It's like, no, it's like, it's just a constant disappointment. It seems like. So I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Now, that's kind of winding down our questions, so I have one more short question, and then there's one or two more viewer questions as well. So let me just ask, do you have a favorite Jason kill?
Oh, man. There's so many. One that comes to mind, and this might catch a lot of people off guard, is that Jason X sleeping bag.
Yes, my favorite.
So, I mean, that to me, I mean, you gotta love that. I mean, come on.
Absolutely.
Like the holodeck type area or whatever.
Exactly. That's part of the reason why I like it as well. I mean, it's just a fun kill.
Angry Demon Productions asks, he says, if, what the fuck am I saying, when this becomes a success, will there be a part 2 to Voorhees?
I think you're just going to have to wait and find out.
All right, and then there was a question from Jerks Productions.
Brandon!
Friend of the channel here, Brandon. Do you really need to be in L.A. to make it in film, do you believe? Especially in horror?
Cody's not in L.A., if I'm not mistaken.
I'm certainly not in LA.
Yeah, so, but what do you think about that, though? Because I guess maybe some people think you're in LA. We know different, but, you know, what do you think about that? Do you feel like there's an advantage to people out there doing horror, or do you feel like you can do it wherever?
You're in, like, D.C., Baltimore area, right, if I remember correctly, man?
Yeah, nation's capital, D.C. You know, to answer that question, that's a good question, and I think that's a good question to clarify. I think hell no. I think if you do the research and you have the passion, like, don't think because you're not in LA that you can't go out there and impress somebody. You know, get a group of friends together. You know, put the hard work into it. Just put the time into it, and go out there and just shock people. You know, you can do it. You don't need to be in LA. Like, I mean, that's just so like the hypocritical thing to say. It's like, and unfortunately, you know, that's the way it is with Hollywood. It's like, oh, you have to have these good looks and you have to do all of this. You know, when they can't just accept someone for being good. So I don't think you need to be in LA at all. I think you just have to have the passion and the love for what you're doing, and if you have the passion and the love, then people are going to see that and they're going to appreciate it. And like, this guy and this girl, they made a good film, and you can tell that they had a good time doing it, and this is what they love to do. So that's my input on that.
Yeah, man, and I mean, honestly, most of my industry friends who are grips or, you know, aspiring actors or whatever, they're all in Atlanta, you know, so it's like, you know, different areas. So
yeah, I think it doesn't matter where you are. It's like being in a band. It's like, it doesn't matter where you are. You just have to write one good hit song and you're out there, you know?
Yeah, the internet has kind of leveled the playing field for YouTubers, musicians, whatever it may be. It's given many more people a voice who wouldn't have had it before, but in the same right, it's like, if you have something good, you can, you know, show it to the world, which is pretty sweet. So
exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, you know, Cody, that's addressed most of the questions we've received and most of the questions that we had. Now, I want to make sure everyone knows that we do indeed have the links to both the Voorhees Kickstarter and the Voorhees Facebook group in the description box down below, you guys. So if you're watching this and you want to support this fan film, which you damn well should do,
please
even if it's just watching it, you know, watching the progress of it, I'm sure they appreciate that. Share it out there. Let the whole world know that this motherfucker is coming our way. And I'm going to say, we didn't even discuss this very much, but again, I mentioned at the beginning, the shots that are coming out of this production, the still frames that Cody's selecting, some of the actual video footage that I've seen.
On point, dude.
Although I still think there's one extra shot in that edit that you showed me, Cody. But outside of that, I think you've got some really outstanding shit that you've got coming our way. And every one of you guys should make sure you check out those links in the description box. But Cody, is there anything else you want to leave ours and yours, frankly, audience with regarding this project?
Well, I've been wanting to say this for a long time, and I say it all the time on Facebook, and you know, I get messages constantly saying this to people, but I think it's better when they actually hear my voice and say this. So I just want to say thank you to everyone's support so far, because honestly, if it wasn't for them, and if it wasn't for just the love they have for Friday the 13th, I wouldn't be sitting here right now, and I wouldn't be talking to you guys. So, I mean, for one, I just want to say thank you to everyone for the support. It really does mean a lot to me, and it means a lot to our crew, because we are working our butts off, and it makes us want to go out there every single weekend, just 100% put the work into it, because we know at the end of the day, we're going to post a picture, and they're going to freak out, and it's like, you know what, we may have got a little beat up today, we might have been freezing our asses off today, we might have been, you know, doing this and that, but at the end of the day, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be doing this crap. So, I mean, thank you to everyone. If you want to follow the film, as Cecil said, I think he's going to have some links for us. You can find us on Voorhees, the Facebook group page. We accept everybody, so all you have to do is hit join group and you're automatically in. We accept everybody. You can find us on What Paint Pictures on Instagram. And there's also a Snapchat that one of the actors runs that I actually don't know the name to, because I don't know anything about Snapchat.
Machete on Snapchat.
Well, you can send me the link at some point, and I can drop it into the description box. No problem.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks.
All right, man. I have to thank Cody just for the ambition, the aspiration, man. I mean, great amounts of respect, and happy to see you doing this, dude.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, man. It really means a lot to me.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Cody. Like I said, you guys, make sure you click those links in the description box to support the Voorhees fan film, support Cody and what he's doing, and make sure you follow the project. So, you know, if there's anything that comes later, we'll know about that as well. So, thank you guys very much for joining us. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, I've been Jaime Fuego.
And we've been joined by...
I'm Cody Faulk.
That's right.
Hell
and
yeah.
until next time, remember... Stay scared. All right, and we are...